Everyone loves dividend investing because once you buy a dividend stock, you get passive income just by holding the stock. That's the dream. But here's the question most people never ask before they start. If you want to live off dividends and make $50,000 a year in passive income, how much money do you actually need to invest? And what yield do you need to pull that off? Because once you see the real numbers, you will see many investors start chasing higher yields, but higher yields could make you lose your capital. Before we start, this video is for educational purposes only and not a recommendation to buy or sell anything. So always do your own research before making any investment decisions. All right, let's get to the point. To figure out how much you need to invest, we can calculate the target annual income divided by the dividend yield. So, if you want $50,000 per year in dividend income and your portfolio gives you a 3% dividend yield, you need $1.67 million invested. If your portfolio yield is 4%, you need around $1.25 million. And if your portfolio yield is 5%, you still need $1 million. So this is the first reality check. Dividend investing sounds simple, but living off dividends requires a lot of capital. A $10,000 portfolio with a 4% dividend yield only gives you $400 per year. A $100,000 portfolio gives you $4,000 per year. Even a $500,000 portfolio gives you only $20,000 per year at a 4% yield. So when you say, I want to live off dividends, the question you need to ask is not just which dividend stock should I buy, but also how large does my portfolio need to be? And for most people, the answer is much larger than they think. But that does not mean dividend investing is bad. It just means dividend investing is not a shortcut. It is a long game that takes a lot of capital. But if 4% or 5% yield requires too much money, why don't we just buy stocks with 8%, 9%, or 10% yields? Because the higher the yield, the less money you need, right? If you want $50,000 per year, a 10% yield means you only need $500,000 invested. That looks much easier than needing $1 million or $1.25 million. But unfortunately, according to the up-to-date Dividend Aristocrats list, these are S&P 500 companies that have raised their dividends every year for at least 25 years. In other words, these are supposed to be some of the most reliable dividend companies in the market. But even among them, the reality is clear when we check the complete Dividend Aristocrats list by yield. Sorted from highest to lowest, the average yield is only around 1 to 4%. Very rarely above 6%. This is the company with the strongest, most proven dividend track records. That alone should tell you something about what a normal dividend actually looks like. So if the most dividend companies are mostly paying low single-digit yields, you need to be very careful when you see a stock paying 8%, 9%, or 10%, because you have to ask question, why is the yield this high? To understand that, you need to understand how dividend yield works. Dividend yield equals annual dividend divided by stock price. For example, if a stock trades at $50 and pays $4 per year in dividends, the dividend yield is 8%. And this 8% yield can be good or a warning sign depending on the company. Because one company might be paying an 8% yield because it has a good business and stable cash flow. But another company can be paying 8% because the stock price has already fallen. Imagine a stock is trading at $100 and pays $4 per year in dividends. That is a 4% dividend yield. Now imagine bad news comes out. The business is slowing down, profit is falling, debt is rising. Investors start selling the stock. The stock price drops from $100 to $50, but the company is still paying $4 in dividends. Now the yield is 8%. You see, dividend yield is just the dividend divided by the stock price. So if the stock price falls, the yield percentage automatically shoots up. It looks like a great deal, but in reality, the price fell because investors are running away, worried the dividend will get cut. And if the company eventually cuts the dividend from $4 to $2, two painful things happen. First, your income gets cut in half. Second, the stock price can fall even more because many investors only own the stock for the dividend. So you lose on both sides. You lose income, you lose capital. That is the high yield trap. This is why I do not get excited when I see a stock yielding 9% or 10%. I get suspicious. And one more thing to understand, a long dividend history is not a safety guarantee. 3M raised its dividend for more than 60 years, but in 2024, it cut the dividend. Walgreens is an even stronger example. It cut its dividend in 2024 and then suspended its quarterly dividend in 2025. Some companies can raise dividends for decades and still cut them when the business gets weaker. So do not judge a dividend stock only by its yield, and do not judge it only by its dividend history. It is not a guarantee. A dividend is only as safe as the business behind it. If revenue is declining, cash flow is weakening, debt is too high, or the company is paying out more than it can afford, the dividend becomes vulnerable. So then, is dividend investing still even worth it? The short answer is yes. But the biggest mistake beginners make is copying a 60-year-old retiree's dividend portfolio when they are only 25. You have to stop focusing solely on the dividend and start considering your current stage as an investor. Because at the end of the day, what really builds wealth is not just dividend income, it is the total return. Total return means the dividends you receive plus the capital appreciation of the stock itself. If you are under 30 or in your early 30s, your biggest advantage is not capital, it is time. At this stage, chasing income too early can actually slow down your wealth building. Just look at this chart. In recent years, aristocrats have not kept up with the increasingly tech-heavy S&P 500 as investors have flocked to growth stocks and AI companies, meaning that if you were only focused on dividend income during your wealth-building years, you likely left significant returns on the table. When you're young and don't yet have a $1 million portfolio, chasing a 4% dividend yield on $10,000 only gives you about $400 a year. That will barely change your life. But if you consistently invest every month into high-quality growth companies or ETFs and let that money compound for 30 years at roughly 9% to 12% return a year, building a $1 million portfolio becomes a lot more achievable. So when you are young, the goal is not to maximize dividend income. The goal is to build capital. If you focus only on dividend income too early, you may miss better total return opportunities. Focus on high-quality companies that can grow earnings, grow cash flow, and compound over time. Some of those companies may pay dividends, some of them may not, and that is okay because your main engine at this stage should be total return, not just yield. Now, as you move into your mid-30s, the strategy can start to shift. This is the transition phase. You may still want growth because you still have time, but now it can make sense to slowly add more reliable dividend-paying companies into your portfolio. Not because you are trying to live off dividends yet, but because you are starting to build an income base for the future. And finally, when you are closer to retirement, or when you actually need your portfolio to produce income, dividend investing starts to play a much bigger role. Because now the goal changes. You are no longer only trying to build wealth. You are preparing to use your wealth. At this stage, stability, capital preservation, and cash flow become much more important. Dividend-paying stocks can help you generate income without forcing you to sell as many shares. But even here, you still should not blindly chase high yields. So the key is simple. What role should dividends play in my portfolio right now? If you are still building wealth, focus on capital growth and total return. If you are in the transition phase, start blending growth with quality dividend stocks. And if you are closer to retirement, dividends can become a powerful income tool. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.